Hey guys, and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. I'm Sai, and on the channel you can find pretty much anything you like: podcasts, interviews, content on mental health, football, music, films, wrestling, TV, anything you want, we've got it. Today's guest is part of the Tenors of Rock. You've seen him on Xfactor, and now resident in Vegas. Dai Richards, thanks for coming on, Dai.
No worries, bud. No worries at all.
It's all good, mate. I finally nags you, like it pins you down.
That's my fault. That's definitely my fault. But no, pleasure to be on.
Good. Well, come on. We'll start with the Tenors of Rock and stuff. Did you do you always want to do like singing and?
No, not at all. I started. I didn't start singing until I was 18, 17 years old. I was a saxophone player first. That's what I grew up doing, was playing sax. I don't know if you remember, I was very small in school, so I didn't. I was good at sports, but I was way too small to play them at a decent level. I was always way too small. So my mum was a music teacher, and I grew up playing the saxophone from the age of 5, and I was always going to go and do that. And I was planning on going to Leeds to study jazz and become a professional saxophone player, and then I just started singing. My brother started doing shows, and he got more attention off girls, so I thought that looked like the right thing to do. And then I started to sing, and luckily I was musical enough and I was good at it, and I went to acting college, and I went into that first before Tenors of Rock. We had a career in that first.
Cool. It's like a really unique idea, though, isn't it? Like Tenors of Rock is like operatic singing, but like rock songs. I love it. I do, and like I've never watched a minute of Xfactor, but I watched like your segments doing it, which was a bit mad seeing you guys on there. But just before we go to Xfactor, how did you guys get started? You're all from like all over the place. Like you're not all from like Cardiff and Wales. You're all.
Yeah, we basically, it's always a misconception. We're not quite described like that. None of us are opera singers. We're all rock singers. It's just the way you've got to think of it is it's a band with 5 frontmen. That's what it is. It's not doing it in a theatrical way. We all have a theatrical background, but we've all been in rock bands individually through our careers anyway. But we all started. We all used to play football against each other in London. My brother had known a few of the boys for a while, and we'd all either played football against each other or we'd done backstage work together in different theatres. But yeah, my brother just had this idea, and we were there at the beginning, and it just kind of evolved from that. And we managed to get one gig with David Hasselhoff in London. That was surreal.
That must have been weird.
Nice, lovely guy. He's a monster of a man. He's about 6'7". He's huge. Lovely fella. He gave us an opportunity, and his managing company came up to us and said, "Well, what are you? What is this thing?" Like, you know. And then we did a few little gigs, and we were to-ing and fro-ing through things, and I was still in We All Rock You in London. Some of the boys were still in shows. We did another gig in London before that as well. But then we just managed to get onto some cruise ships. We started doing some of that. We were traveling around everywhere, and we would just go on for a week. We'd come back off, testing what worked, what didn't work. And we actually played Hyde Park. We played the 2012 Olympics in Hyde Park in London. They had loads of stages. They had a big main stage. They had a bunch of little ones, and we got asked to play one of the really small ones to about 20, 30 people. It was only like our third or fourth gig together, and at the time there was 7 of us, so we were all packed onto this really small stage. And the guy who was the entertainment manager of Live Nation at the time was at the bar drinking a glass of wine. He said, "What are you guys doing next week? Do you want to support McFly on the main stage?" I was like, "Yeah, of course, no problem." And we couldn't we got paid £1 for security reasons or insurance reasons. And yeah, we had to fight to get days off. I wasn't meant to be having a day off. I threatened to quit my job because it was in front of like this number has grown over the years, by the way, but I think it was about 75,000 people. We say it's about 400,000 people by this point, but about 80,000, 75,000 people there. There was people as far as you could see. It was incredible. So yeah, we supported them. We went out, and it was amazing watching kids singing along to Whitesnake and Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi and all that stuff. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. And then at that point, we all kind of felt that what we were doing, it was worth the risk to move away from. I went straight to the Dominion Theatre in London, which holds about 2,000 people. It was a packed show, and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to. That was my dream for a very long time, in that musical, and then I want to do this thing now, and it kind of progressed from there. We did get offered. We got offered a lot of this. We got offered a recording deal in Germany. That didn't end up happening, but at that point, I just wanted to go. I wanted to leave. So we started doing some stuff. We started, like I said, doing some cruise ships, and we did a tour in Germany, and we did some bits and bobs. And one of the producers from Britain's Got Talent got hold of us and said, "We've never had a rock band before. Would you like to try out?" And none of us wanted to, because we know how it works. We've been in the industry long enough to know how not false, because it does happen. It's not scripted. It's just pushed in certain ways, depending on who the public like. And it's a TV program. It's entertainment. It's not a competition. It's a TV program. People forget that when they're watching. They think what their opinion matters. It doesn't. It's a TV program. It's got an outcome, and it's going to finish that way, whether you like it or not. But so we went on. We did go, because he was in Cardiff. He was recording in the Millennium Centre. They said, just go to the audition. You don't have to queue up. We'll walk you straight in. You're invited. You don't have to stand there for hours. It's like, all right, let's just go and have a go. Because if you do well, it's really good exposure. You got to think of it that way.
John.
So we did it, and we sang. I can't remember the song we sang, but it was Simon Cowell, Sharon Osbourne, David Walliams, and blonde lady. Can't remember her name. Amanda Holden.
Talisa.
Amanda Holden. Amanda Holden. And we did it, and we had a standing ovation by everyone. Everyone stood up. Simon Cowell said he didn't really get it, but we got through. So we went off stage, and Ant and Dec said, "How do you feel? How would you feel? You're gonna get it. Maybe you're gonna get to go and sing for the Queen." And one of our boys, Johnny, he's from Pontypool, he's straight down the line. He said, "Well, we all pull out the same hole, don't we?" So Ant and Dec enjoyed it. Okay. We waited a few weeks. We had to go to London to do this whole thing of, are you getting through? You're not getting through, and we didn't get through. So then we were like, great, that's going to be on telly, and we're going to look stupid. But then we got a phone call the next day from Xfactor, same producers, same company that makes both. And he said, listen, we're deleting all your footage from Britain's Got Talent. You won't be on that program. We want you to go on Xfactor instead. I was like, listen, what if we're not going to get through? This is the risk. It's because once you go on television, you can't edit it. You've got no idea how they're going to show it.
No.
So they bent our arms. We're like, listen, come in. We really want you to come in. And it was like, all right, let's give it a go. We went into the normal audition. They're like, listen, dress down. Because we're all well-dressed guys. We've got good style, and we were, in a rock band. So they said, listen, try not to look like you're a finished product. I was like, okay. We went in and we sang, and Sharon Osbourne, they all had earpieces in, obviously, because they're talking to the producers. Sharon Osbourne said word for word the same that Simon Cowell had said on Britain's Got Talent. Word for word. And we were like, fuck. Now we're going to look stupid. So anyway, we got through. We ended up getting through, and we kept getting further and further. And it was like, well, no offense to the kids on there. We were all better singers than they were. So it was just a case of whether they're going to let a rock band of older guys. Yeah. I was 23 at the time, but still a lot older than the 17-year-olds who were there around me. So we kept on going, and we knew it wasn't going to be down to the singing, because we knew we were better than, not being knobbish about it, but we actually trained, and we were all very good singers in our own right. So it was a case of whether that's what they wanted or not to make the show. So then it was this whole swap thing. We were live at Wembley Arena, and Gary Barlow, and there was 3 separate girls they put together. One of the girls had actually been in our hotel room the night before asking for advice. Cheeky bitch. And then they ended up swapping us out. And we were sitting. I remember sitting there thinking, what have we done? There's thousands of people. started booing because they didn't agree with the decision. We went off, and Johnny came up with another purrer. Then Dermot O'Leary said, "How do you feel?" He went, "With my hands." So they kept on trying to make us shoot things, and it's like, I got to get out of here. So we got round to the fact we had to keep up with social media saying that we didn't know what happened, and when it aired, we were on like the 4th episode or the 5th episode, and they showed us every single week. They showed us out, and I don't know you, I don't ever watch them, but I had to watch because I was like, I don't know when we're going to be on, and we knew the outcome. So I ran our social media at the time, and you're going to get some numbers off it. So I was waiting for that to happen to be able to. We released a single every time we were on TV. So when people saw us, they followed us. We put a single out on the iTunes, all that kind of stuff. And then the week we finally got shown, they showed us in the opening credits, and it cut to Gary Barlow, and it said that was the worst audition I've ever seen, and it cut to us. And I'm there with my brother, my mum, and my dad, and I was like, "That's not what happened. That's not what happened. That didn't happen." And this is the danger of these kind of programs. So then they didn't show us till about 25 minutes in, and we were all text off all our friends going, "Shit, what happened? I thought you did quite well." And we were like, "What are they going to show? What on earth are they going to show?" And you're there for days. They literally break you down. They move you around. They don't feed you to a certain point, and then they kick you out of your hotel room. You go back to the same hotel room. It's a nightmare. It's hard work on those young kids. It's hard. Anyway, we looked fine. It was a fine audition. We didn't come out of it bad. They edited the sound to the point where it wasn't great, but it was whatever. But it was just one of those experiences that I'm glad I did. I'd never do again. It was horrible because it's you got to have that sob story. You got to have that thing that goes with it. But literally about a week later, we'd already planned to come to Vegas to do a show in a lounge here at the Palms. And just to see if we could get seen by someone, just to come over and make our name here, try to get to know people. So we had a gig in Toronto. We flew from, my brother being my brother, said, "Well, we're over there. Let's just keep going." We went from Toronto to Vegas. We had probably about $200 between us. We managed to get the hotel rooms paid for because the guy who brought us over was working in one of the hotels. We got comped rooms. We ate in McDonald's every day because we couldn't afford anywhere else. We walked everywhere. Uber wasn't a thing. We couldn't afford the taxis. So we were like, "We'll just walk." And have you been to Vegas? Have you been to Vegas before?
I haven't. No, it's on my bucket list, mate. And
when you're walking down the strip, you go, "Oh, it's only down there, that hotel." It's not. It's about 2 miles, 3 miles away because they're so big, and the way they move the signs in, towards the road, you think it's a 2-minute walk, and it really isn't. It's it's a long walk, and we walked out to the sign, and we walked all the way back again. But we came out, and Priscilla Presley came to watch us, Elvis's wife.
Nice.
And she's a recluse, and she was a Scientologist. She's not anymore. Don't get me started on those, by the way. She came out, and some of the press were there and like, "Well, who are these guys? Why are they commanding you to come out?" And she goes, "Oh, well, I know these guys." And she knew one of our producers, and so then after that, it was a case of people asking when we were going to come back to Vegas, and he was just trying to find an excuse to get a non-paid gig because we couldn't work over here. So it was a case of just trying to set up something that we could come over and do for free. And we did that about 2 or 3 times. We came and did a big event, charity event, and luckily for us, the guy who runs entertainment at Caesars Entertainment came to watch us. He said he likes it. We should be here. It kind of snowballed after that. We were actually on tour in Manila. We were in the Philippines. We were on an Asian tour. We were meant to be doing Macau, Guam, Japan, South Korea. We were going to Russia. And we'd only done 2 or 3 of the days. We'd done Guam, we'd done Hawaii, and we were in Manila at the time. And they said, "We want to offer you Harrah's on the strip from November 2016. And that was when we were in the middle of our tour. So we took it. We had to take it, and we ended up doing 626 shows at Harrah's consecutively. And we just moved now to Planet Hollywood. So we're touching on our 3rd year come November.
Mate, you still there?
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. That was me. The connection was breaking a bit, so I was trying to fiddle around and I pressed the wrong button.
Okay,
Sorry, mate. That's my bad. It's
okay.
because, like I say, I normally do it on my phone, so I was just fiddling. But yeah, so you were in Manila.
Yes, we were in Manila, and we got a phone call asking us if we wanted to open up in Harrods, and that was November 2016. So we had to cancel the rest of our tour. We didn't think we could turn it down. So, and all these rooms you hear, like Sammy Davis Jr. played at Harrods, Frank Sinatra played there. There's a lot of history in these rooms, and we thought, well, we got to go for it. And we signed a year deal, and we did 626 shows there consecutively, which was like 15 behind Elvis. So we only wanted that. We wanted that record. So and 5 weeks ago we opened up in a different room in Planet Hollywood now. So there we are, still going.
Okay, so we had a couple of technical issues, but we're back. So yeah, you were saying about you took the chance on that place. What was the name of the place?
We were at Harrah's Casino
yeah.
and Hotel. And now we just moved to Planet Hollywood. We were there for just over 2 years. And now we're at Planet Hollywood, and it's a smaller room, but you got to shift around sometimes to make the longevity of things move on. It's a great city to be in. There's a lot more here than people realize. I live in a place called Henderson, which is about probably like a 15-minute drive away from the actual strip. A lot of people think you live on the strip. You die if you lived on the strip. I did actually for two months when we first moved over. We were told categorically that we wouldn't last. At the end of the day, it's the home of entertainment. There's like 125 shows a night. There's the clubs, there's the pools, there's the casino floors itself. So there's a lot to fight against. It's not like being in the West End where you have your 10 theatres or like the New Theatre or Sherman Theatre. There's everything you want to go on ever, you can have.
Yeah, so it's difficult then, isn't it? Because you're trying to you're just competing against everything, not even just against similar sort of entertainment. It's everything.
24-hour food and alcohol. There's the weed's legal. Strip clubs are fine. They're not frowned upon. They're encouraged. There's anything you want to do in a night out, you can do here. So, we were told that we weren't going to last long. So I was like, well, I'll stay in the hotel for a month or two, and then we'll see what goes on after that. Lo and behold, we're still here. So I was like, well, I can't eat pizza and drink beer every night. I need to move. So I moved around a few times, but me and my new fiance just got engaged. We live in a place called Henderson, and it's about 15 minutes away from the strip. It's lovely. It's all green, and it's nice. It's far enough away to be where you want to be, and we have mountains here. We've got a lake not far away, and so much to do. And then LA's a 4-hour drive, so it's
can't really fault that, mate. Can you?
No, you can't.
It must be quite cool though. Like the first night at Baja's, going when you've got people like Sammy Davis Jr. and stuff played there, big names with a lot of history.
We were on the strip. They have each hotel has its sign outside, and they're changing all the time. But when my mum and dad came over that first week, and the Harrah's sign, and it had our poster on the outside on the strip, and it's a big deal being a headliner. So one thing we've never realised that it never made much of a fuss back home, which is not a problem, but it's like we're the only Xfactor act who's ever gotten a headliner show. We're the only all that kind of stuff. But whatever, it's fine by me. You have Brexit, I'll have Trump. We'll keep it. But no, it was amazing. It really was, and you think, how long is this going to last? It's. And here we are, still here, still grinding. So,
got to enjoy it while it lasts, mate. Whether it lasts,
absolutely.
Whether it lasted 6 months or 10 years, 20 years, whatever. No,
an achievement. Yeah, it's a hell of an achievement. And it's been fun. It's been exactly where we wanted to be. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next. And what's the next movement for this? It's I've been in it 10 years now, and it's been a long time, and I've gone through some. I got injured as we moved over here. My hearing got damaged So singing is becoming something that's becoming hard work for me. Long story short, the audiologist here, the ear guy here, you have these in-ear monitors made. So like the headphones you got now, but they basically would only fit me. You wouldn't be able to wear them. And what they do is they pipe a plastic into your ear and it sets in your ear and they pull it out and they send it to the headphone company. So the guy, he disagrees, but he pushed the mold through my eardrum and it's still there now in here. My eardrum healed over the top and it's underneath my bones, wrapped around the bones here at the bottom. So I've lost half my hearing. I have to have a hearing aid. I've had vertigo for the first time. I've had blackouts. I've experienced like bits of depression. What depression must be like, because it's just like this cloud that hangs on the left hand side. So it's been really tough performing through it, and they try to argue with me that I've still had to work, but the visa I'm on a visa. I'm on a work visa. I can't stop working. I won't be able to survive without work, and I've just had to kind of grin and bear it. And it's been tough. So I'm in the middle of a 2-year lawsuit. That's going on too. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. I mean, I know I'm not going to sing forever. It hurts too much. It hurts my head, so I have to be careful. So we'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens next.
It must be hard. Like, speaking of someone who's had blackouts and vertigo myself over the last sort of 10 years through my health problems. Like, I find it's hard anyway, just day to day having it. But like, to have it and have to try and sing and perform and do a full show and remember it while you're in pain and struggling with it must be hard, mate.
It is, yeah, and I'm up the top. I'm singing a lot of the high stuff, so it's a lot of pressure coming to my head anyway, with the blood coming up to my head. And yeah, I've never experienced this. It's the color goes from my eye and it goes black into a circle and then it pops back out again. And it's hard to describe because I'm an able-bodied man. I'm probably fitter than I've ever been in my life, and I'm all right. You know what I mean? I'm not crying on the floor, but it's hard when it's inside you. It's hard to explain unless you feel it yourself. You know what I mean? So it was a horrible injury to have. It's not a nice one as a singer. It's you need your hearing. When I had a hearing aid, the doctor gave it to me. He lent it to me for 2 weeks because they cost about £3,000, and I don't have that spare cash. So he lent it to me, and I had it, and I was in his office, and I didn't realize there was a clock on the wall, and I got a bit upset because I didn't even know that it was there, and I'm a 32-year-old man, and I can't even hear the bloody clock on the wall. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like shit.
Yeah. Jesus.
So that was a relief to have that for a while. I was like, well, I'm going to need one of these. And they're tiny. You can't see them. It's nothing. But I don't have one now. I have to wait until my case is finished. But we'll get there. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, don't envy you, mate, with lawyers and solicitors and that. They're bloody nightmare, mate.
I got some nice ones, so we're all right.
Yeah. So they love it in America, that sort of stuff as well.
I didn't even think about doing it. But one of the doctors said to me, have you got a lawyer? I was like, why? He said, well, to sue him. So, well, I can't say much more, but it saw him go in, and, we'll have to just wait and see, fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, isn't it? It's unfortunate that it's happened, but you can't do anything about it now. Do you know what I mean? So you've just got to...
And I think I'm funny here. It's a funny thing to talk about. I take CBD pills, which is the non-psychoactive element of marijuana, and you should be allowed to take it at home. It's outrageous. You can't.
They sell this. I got the CBD oil now. They sell it in on Albany Road now. So
there's such a stigma attached to a drug that doesn't have any deaths, doesn't have anything. I'm not trying to sit here and bang on about it, but it works. It's worked for me. It's the only thing that's helped me balance myself out is taking the CBD pills and the oil and stuff, and I don't need it all the time. And when the weather gets heavier, I need it then because the pressure in the air is worse and it affects me, externally. Kind of goes on like that. But it's so funny. I try to tell people back home about it, and they're just not having any of it. And it's like there's so many things We have a mutual friend of ours in the band who had bowel cancer, and he took CBD oil and it did nothing but help him, and he cleared it up. And might not have been the only thing, but doesn't do you any harm. Anyway, it's one of those things. I think it's the one thing that's, on one hand, America, you've got Georgia and Alabama passed yesterday that if you have an abortion, you can get done for 10 years murder. He said, so some things they do, and I said this to my drummer last night, I said, some things this country does fantastically well. Some things you just stuck back in the 30s, and it makes no.
Yeah.
But Britain's the same. We're the first to judge. It's the one thing I've known since moved here. We're also bloody depressed back home. We're also, but we're all the first, and I'm engaged to an American woman, and it's we always joke about the fact that we think they're a bit nuts and they're always happy and whatever. But it's they get a lot of things right and they get an awful lot of things wrong. The healthcare is not free. All that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on. It's very expensive to have it, and if you don't have it, you get fined. So it's one or the other.
Well, that's mad. I didn't know. I knew you had to pay for it. I didn't know you got fined if you don't have it.
Yeah, well, we just did our tax now, and for 6-7 months I didn't have it because I just couldn't afford it. It was an expense I couldn't afford at the time, and it you get fined for it because you have to have it. So.
I suppose it's mad.
Which is great because when you pay it's very quick. It's like my mum has Bupa back home. It's that, but that's for their general hospitals. You can't visit the hospital and then you got to pay cash. So
it's mad. I just
great. And I never thought I needed it until it literally happened to me the week I moved here. All of a sudden, I'm seeing doctors every 2 weeks. I'm going for MRIs. I'm going for CAT scans, and they cost $800 a pop.
Jesus. That must have been weird though, the first few times you went to the doctors over there and you had to pay. That must have been so surreal moment.
I had the most basic medical insurance I could get. Literally if your body's falling apart, you're allowed to come into the hospital for free kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I went to pay, use that, and I said, I've got insurance. I showed them, and they said, well, you're going to have to pay something like $180 for the consultation. I said, how much is it if I pay cash? And they said $80. I was like, well, I'll pay cash then.
Yeah, Jesus.
So it's a strange, I can't get my head around it, but it's the only way they've ever done it. So people are very defending over it.
Yeah.
People make money out of it at the end of the day. Pharmaceutical companies are rich for a reason. So.
Yeah, well, it's the same as many things, isn't it? It's when people make lots of money from stuff, they don't want to change it necessarily. But going back to the CBD oils stuff, so I had a car crash in 2008, which meant that I won't go into the whole story because it's really long. But I had a few issues similar to you actually with the doctor, did some stuff wrong, and I've been taking slow release morphine tablets and oxycodone tablets for the last couple of years. I switched over from morphine, but I've been taking them for 10 years now, just to be able to function in the day and move about and that. And I still got to walk with a stick even after I had the surgery.
Yeah.
But what frustrates me about that is that obviously you can get this CBD oil now over the last, I think it's 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But my body has had to take morphine and oxycodone for 10 years. That's just not good for you. Even though I've never gone over the dosages of what I've been told to take, my body's still addicted to it because it's used to got to have it to function. And that's what gets me is that I try to take the CBD oil now. I take the slow release ones, and then I try not to take the fast active ones unless I've really got to and I'll take the CBD oil instead, because I just find it does a lot of the same stuff and it doesn't make me feel like shit.
It's not addictive. You can have it on levels where you don't have any THC at all. The pills come in, you can have literally just CBD, or you can have 20-to-1, 40-to-1, 10-to-1, 1-to-1. You can have as many. It's so scientific now and it's so clean. You go into the weed shops here and it's sorry, mum and dad, I know you don't want to talk with it. But go into the weed shops and it's clinical. It's like an Apple store.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a futuristic computer shop, and it's amazing. When you get the pills and the oils and stuff, and it's nothing but it doesn't slow you down, doesn't get you high in the slightest. It's just there it helps with the anxious feelings. It helps with anything like that. It helps with depression. It helps with He helped me with I had a blocking feeling, is what it feels like. He's hanging over me, and it just kind of helped. Didn't go, but it helped me
Just take the edge off.
Stage and be able to function. You know.
Yeah, I wish.
Don't worry, Mum and Dad. I don't do drugs. It's fine.
Gotta be.
But that one's all right. We all like that. So.
Yeah, so that's like compulsory in Wales, that isn't it?
Well, okay,
so you mentioned before you went on Xfactor, you were already sort of looking at the Vegas type deal, and you were looking towards that. Did you say you went to Toronto to do a gig?
We did. We sang at when we were doing cruise ships. It was to like help promote a company called Celebrity Cruises, one of the big cruise ships. Pardon me. And they were sponsoring a Canadian football game. So like American football, but the rules are slightly different. I don't understand what the two versions. Anyway, so we went to, it was the Blue Jay Stadium in Toronto, and we were singing at half time on the pitch. So we went over to do that, and we sang that there, and everything we do has got a funny story attached to it. We didn't know that it was Faith Day on the Sunday that we were there. They invited a bunch of local churches and community groups, and which is fine. It's not my bag, but you know, it's believe in what you believe. I got no problem with that. We sang. They picked the songs they wanted us to sing, and we sang "Highway to Hell," which is one of the ones they wanted by AC/DC. So that went down well. It was their Remembrance Sunday, so I don't think it was the same day as our one, but either way, they have their poppies, and we had like leather jackets on, so we put them where we could, whether it was on like the pocket of our jeans or whatever. That they didn't like. They thought that was disrespectful as well. So we hopped out of Toronto. And it was the weekend there in May. I got done for crack cocaine possession and spending taxpayers' money on hookers. So he passed away in the end, bless him. He wasn't a well man, but he got done for some horrendous things. So then we flew from there to Vegas to do our first gig. We ended up playing eventually over the next 2 years. We played the Palms. We played, what else did we play? We played the Hard Rock Hotel. We did the vinyl club that's inside there. We did the Sands, it's an expo center, but it's where the old Sands, one of the famous hotels, used to be. We did that, and we played downtown as well. And eventually we got offered. We were just trying to keep on making sure people remembered that we were a thing, and that, you know, we wanted to come here, and you know, it's not an easy trip to hop over. It's as far as you can go before back. So yeah, it was a case of just trying to keep on knocking on the door. And we did, and you know, the first couple of months was tough. It's all you know, big budgets were spent and other people's money, and you know, I had nothing to do with any of that. But I think all producers kind of over budgeted or overspent what they should have. They tried to close us once or twice, and we managed to, you know, take certain pay cuts and, you know, do little things that we could keep it going, because we were getting there. We were getting an interest. We were going on TV a lot, and because we were 5 British guys at the time, we're cheeky and we're good. We're talking with people. We're good on that kind of stuff, and they love it. They love an accent over here. They can't get enough of it. So yeah, you know, we've just moved now, and we've been lucky to do a lot of things. We sang the anthem at the hockey games, at the Golden Knights games, and
that's mad.
We're very lucky to do something really cool. We sang "Happy Birthday" to Stanley in the Beverly Hills. It took 4 of us there to go and sing in Iron Man's mansion, the outside shot they use. That's a house.
Okay.
And we went there and sang "Happy Birthday" to Stanley. Bless him, he's gone now, isn't he? But yeah, you know, we've done a lot of lucky stuff. We've been very lucky.
Stanley, mate, that'd be top of my list, I think.
Sweet little old man he is. Yeah, he was. He was very wealthy as well. You could see he was just such a nice guy, and yes, it was a cool experience, really cool experience.
Yeah, so you've had your fair share of pretty awesome stuff, it's fair to say, like over the last few years.
I mean, we've been lucky. We've been to a lot of countries. We've been to whether it's on cruise ships or whether it's been the tours we've been doing. Sorry, 2 seconds. I'm still there.
Sorry.
Oi. Sorry, my lab retriever dog is a nosy little sod and wants to wander around everywhere. I mean, the cruise ships, we did something like, well, we haven't been to the North South Pole, we haven't done Africa, and we've only done a few places in South America, but pretty much all of Europe. We used to do Harley Davidson festivals throughout Austria and Germany, and we toured Russia. That was interesting. It was a hell of an experience going to Moscow. It was a crazy place. So yeah, we've been lucky. We've been very lucky to go to, popping over to the Bahamas now and again is quite nice.
Yeah.
Any of that, but no, it's been good fun. We've been very grateful for it. We've worked hard, but you have to do a lot of things for free when you're doing what we're doing. So we take advantage of those kinds of trips and learn to not feel bad about it, because singing and entertainment is one of those things where even though it looks like we're not working many hours in the day, there's a lot of practice that goes into it. There's a lot of media stuff that goes into it. It's an exhausting 2 hours that you're putting across. It is a full body workout when you're doing it, and is the training that goes into it too. And it is always the thing that it's one of the only, particularly in Britain, one of the only workspaces you can be in. If you're in the top 3% of your game, you don't get paid like it.
Yeah.
So when I was in the West End, that was meant to be the be all and end all. You made it. This is the thing that you trained to be in theatre for. And I've earned more money doing other jobs. You know what I mean? It doesn't get looked that way. Unless you're a TV star or in a movie, it doesn't work that way. So it's good for some stuff, and then there's others you're like, really worth all these hours of this work, So, and that's the same with any job, I suppose. But it's landed me here. Here I am.
Yeah, the worst things could have happened.
I'm not whinging, I promise.
So you said about the cruise ships. When I was looking on the Tenors of Rock website, it says like on the About Me page that there's like an offshoot or some branded people doing using the Tenors of Rock brand on the cruise ships now. Is that it?
There was. I don't think they're doing it anymore. There was one point before we came to Vegas, the year before we came to Vegas, we had something like 22 guys out at any point that we were running. So we'd be spread out between us, and we were sending them over there.
All right.
Anything we were the new thing on ships at that point, so everybody wanted us. And everything has an expiry date. So we knew that we were going to have those first 2 years of doing it, and we were going to clean up. And then after that, people either copy, imitate, or it moves on to something else.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Good on to anybody who's going out there earning their money off of it. Carry on. For God's sake, I don't want to do it anymore. It was fun at that point, and then you move on to something else. So there was for a while. I don't think they're doing it anymore. I don't know why, for what reason, but I think it kind of ran its course on those ships. We saturated them for 2.5 years. So there was at one point it branded out, and we've done shows where we've been in Vegas, and a few guys have gone to Dubai. They've gone to Atlantic City in New York. So we still got that going on now and again when it gets booked, and if we can make it work.
Yeah, I think it's definitely I think with entertainment and media stuff, TV and radio and whatever, it's about you got to get your name out. And when you first start, you got to do stuff for free to get your name out. So if someone will have you on their radio show or whatever it may be, you just got to do it because you want as many eyes as you can 100%. On you.
Yeah, we got loads of. Luckily, back in Wales when we toured with, I can't move in Rill without someone recognising me. We toured with Ridian from the Xfactor.
Oh, okay.
They went to like Rill and Aberystwyth, and we did Swansea, Monmouth, Cardiff, and we did it again on our own like a year later. And we had a nice little following in Wales for a while. It was nice, and people would come and see us. And obviously we're over here now, so it's a case of we start again. You start again. Yeah. Start from zero. You get out there. You go to the TV programs. You go up and do all that stuff you have to do. And it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work of turning up, being on it, singing at 7 o'clock in the morning for a news program. And then it's, doesn't work. My voice doesn't wake up till, my voice sounds different now than it will do in 6 hours time. Do you know what I mean? It's the same. You don't notice it unless you use it in that way. You know what I mean? So yeah, we've done a lot of stuff. It's funny when we start to think about it. We've been lucky, and we should sit down and write a book, really. But it's been a hell of a journey. But
So do you do more than one show in a night, or do you just one like 2 hour show?
One's enough.
Yeah.
It's normally about an hour and a half, hour and 25 minutes, because with casinos, it's a case of if no show will last 2 hours apart from maybe the Stars, maybe Bruno Mars. But I saw Bruno Mars last week, and he only lasted an hour and 15 minutes because they want people out on the casino floor.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Anyway, buy your drinks, get you back out again, be happy, go and spend that $100 on a fruity, and waste your money. Yeah. But that's how it works, And so we've got a show after us in our theatre, so we can't run over a certain time. They have to clean out. New people come in, so you can only do a certain amount when you can do it. It's my dogs. Shut up.
Sorry.
Betsy, come here. Stop. So yeah, you gotta when you're in these casinos, you got your time periods, you got your frames, you got to get through. And they get you in, get you out. It's a carousel. I mean, they're only there for 4 days. You've got to get them in doing everything. Get them into the theatre, get them into the casino, get them into the restaurants. Go and be by the pool, and then go home. It's as simple as that.
They just want you spending money, don't they? They want the people spending money. So
we've got the Raiders coming now in 2020. We've got a championship American football, our football team down in downtown, which we could probably get a game for, bless them. Then we did the crossbar challenge with them. We actually went and did it with them last season. They're a nice bunch of guys, and they're just starting out. It's a new franchise, so they need to they try to get youngsters in, and it's an okay standard of football. It's probably around about the whatever the conference is called now. I don't know what the name of it is now.
Yeah.
Or Isman League or whatever league. Yeah. Well, the one that Colwyn Bay was in. It's like that level.
Oh,
MLS, the step up. Yeah. It's got Carlos Vela and Perlo running the show. I mean, it's just like a huge gap they have in soccer here. Ugh, soccer, Jesus.
Soccer. What's happened to you, man?
No.
Jesus. So go on. Just before we move on to football, so you met your missus out in Vegas, is it, or in America?
Yes. We're the ultimate 21st century couple. I DM'd her on Instagram after seeing her do her show, and that was it. I slid in like on a water slide, and she never got rid of me. I'd actually. She got divorced from her ex-husband about 3 months prior to me meeting me. I'd broken up with my ex, and I actually came home for the only time I've been home for a week in 3 years. And she's in a burlesque show. We were in Harrods. We were in the showroom upstairs. She was in the burlesque show downstairs. I said, my words were, I want to go and see some fit girls, is what I said. So I wasn't allowed to go and see these shows beforehand. So now I went downstairs and I fell in love with her like that. And when you see her, you'd understand why. So no, she's been great. We've been together for nearly 2 years now. And it's great. It's I'm going to live here now. Do you know what I mean? I'm engaged. We're going to be applying for my green card, and I'm going to be able to stay here. And it's one of those things we can't wait. She's never been to Britain, never been to Wales, so we're going to be coming over in about 6 months' time. But there's no work for me at home. Do you mean? I've been away for too long. I'd have to start again, and there's so many opportunities, not just in Vegas, just in America as a whole. There really is. Do you know what I mean? And particularly when you're a foreigner or an immigrant like I am. But you have an accent and you have a talent and you have, there's many things you can do. And they like having people with accents. They just love it. They can't get enough of it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know whether we'll settle in Vegas. We love Vegas. It's a great place to be. It's, like I said before, it's not what you think it is unless you spend some actual time here. You come over for a week, you're going to see the Strip and you're going to be hungover a lot. You spend a month here, you're going to see a lot of different stuff, so... But yeah, we got. I proposed to her on my birthday 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago today.
Yeah, I seen that video.
Yeah, I proposed to her, so by the pool, as you
That's
go.
it, by the pools. That's it.
Why not?
So what's like? Do you have to be there for a certain amount of time to get a green card?
Yeah, that depends. I mean, I've married a citizen, so well, I'm going to marry a citizen. So when we do get married, I can apply then
Right, okay.
for my green card through her. She'll sponsor me basically, and you get like a 10-year one, and you have to reapply and all that kind of stuff. Stop it. So once we get married, we can start doing all that. We can get that going then. So yeah, it just means I get the ability to travel, because once you apply, I'm not allowed to leave America until I get something called an advanced parole, which means I get like a piece of paper that says I'm on my way to getting my green card.
Yeah.
To let them back in, kind of thing. Because it's all to do with how much you've got to pay. It costs quite a lot of money. So it's they just take it. They take your money. And they give you the card you want. Like so. It's hard like that, but you got to do. I understand it. It's the game you got to play, and I've never tried an immigrant coming into Britain, so I have no idea what it's like.
No, that's it. I don't know. You don't know what you got to go through.
Exactly.
Moving on to footy, then, mate. What like, do you see many Cardiff games this season on the TV and that there?
I've seen pretty much most of the Cardiff games on telly this year.
They're all. I bet they're all on there, aren't they?
More football on telly here than there's ever been on a home.
I bet.
Like the last day of the season, every game is on live.
Infuriating, mate.
8 channels. And it's like, this is amazing. So I mean, it's early, and I know I pick and choose sometimes which ones I get up for. I'm not gonna lie, but on ESPN Plus, or is it? No, it's one of the channels Plus. You can watch any game. So it's all on. It's all every weekend. They'll always have three games every day. They'll have one at 7, one at, depends on what day. So the Sunday, like the 4 o'clock kickoff is like 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is. And next year, the Cardiff, the online, I could watch it through the Cardiff website because I'm not in Britain.
All right, okay.
That costs like £4, like £5 or something like that.
Smart, isn't
it? So I don't do many of them. I might buy the season one instead of just because streaming it's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal.
It messes your computers up. So yeah, I've watched a lot. I think it was one of those seasons where it's tough for everything that happened with Salah, and he would have been that 15-goal striker we probably needed for the end of the season, and it's tragic. I remember waking up reading that a plane had gone missing, and I was like, oh, don't let that be that guy we just signed. No, and that's an awful thing to think as a selfish.
No, I know, but I know what you mean.
But then I was like, oh, that's terrible. And then and then I read his account. I was like, oh, as if that poor bastard signed a huge contract. Why? I don't know what the full story. I did read about it, but I lost my mind now. But like his agent making sure he was on a private flight instead of being on sticking on EasyJet and getting here for Christ's sake. So sad. So just didn't need to happen. Just didn't need to happen.
No, not at all.
19, that did not need to happen.
And you think like he's worked his whole life to get that contract and get that big move, and it's just gone.
Yeah, listen, we would have been a stepping stone. We would have been gone on to someone else, and we know that. And I've got no problem with taking on players who are going to be a stepping stone onto a bigger club. But to not even get him in a top, that's just so sad for his family, for everyone. I know we all move on at the end of the day, and you will remember, but it doesn't affect us like it affects his family, and it's just awful. It's just awful, and I just wish this contract stuff was being played behind doors. I think it's
not a good look, is it?
We don't need to see that. You know what I mean? It's their family don't need that played out in the press, and you never know what's real in the press these days. You don't know what to believe and what not to believe, and it's just not a nice situation to see play out in public.
No, it's not. It's not a good look at all. And I think a lot of it is the insurance company is like, at the end of the day, Cardiff are beholden to what the insurance company says. And if the insurance company says the contract's not valid or whatever, or it's not, legally binding or whatever they say, like they kind of have to go with that. Now, could they pay it anyway and just be done with it? Probably, but either whatever happens, I agree with you. It should be done.
It's tough. I just think about his family, and then his dad passed away.
Oh, I know.
What was it, a month ago, a couple of weeks ago? And you think, what an awful year for that family. I mean, can't even think what it must be like. But
and then, do they need to be seeing that in the newspapers every day, just constantly, like
another for them, clearly, innit? But that aside, I think, I love Warnock. I always wanted him to be one of our managers. He's up with one of those guys you hate when he's somewhere else, but you love him when he's yours. I think he's better than Sam Allardyce. I think he's a better bloke as overall, as we saw with that bungs that Sam Allardyce took. But I think I'm glad he's staying, because I wouldn't want anyone else to come in and try and get us up who doesn't know the championship, but he needs to spend with the next manager in mind, not how Neil Warnock would spend. Because when you buy someone like Bobby Reid and he doesn't get to play,
that's a problem.
I think great loan signing. Camarasa is one of the. I never got to see him live, but to see him when I watched, he's looked like one of the best technically gifted players we've ever had.
Yeah.
The only person I can remember thinking of, I'll always stick with me. My dad would say the same thing. When we had Gary O'Neill on loan from Portsmouth all that time ago, he only played like 6 games. He only played like 6 games at home, and he was one of the best players I've ever seen live. I've never seen anything like it. I was like, this kid is unreal. He's only small, he was tiny, but he was doing exactly what we needed at that point in Division 1 or Division 2. Division 2 we were in at the time. So, I think they need to, hope. I'm going to assume they're going to get back. If they can do a Burnley, I don't see why not. I think I've watched a bit of the Championship as well. I got a lot of my mates. One of my best mates is a Middlesbrough fan, and it's getting quicker. So I'm not sure if the team we had last year back down there would have done as well this year, because they had, you look at some of the boys, like even the Welsh boys, like Tom Lawrence and Harry Wilson, and we haven't got it. Apart, Mendes Lang has scored a few like that, but Harry Wilson scored them week in, week out. We didn't have anyone to take free kicks this year. Who was taking free kicks and scored some? Nobody. I'm not asking for Peter Whittingham back, because he's, I disagree with some people on him. He was past it for me after the end. He was too slow, way too slow, and didn't run enough. But his dead ball was incredible. We haven't had anyone since. Before that, he was Kavanagh, then he was Whittingham, and then when you don't have people like Chopper and Bothroyd or Ernie or anyone like that, we haven't had that one player. That's what we struggled with this year when Patterson was playing up front. Good job, scored a few goals. I'm not going to deny that, but you shouldn't be relying on what is a right back.
Yeah.
So that's the tough balance between loving him, Warnock, and thinking if he's got 15, 20, 25 million to spend, who the hell is he going to spend it on?
Yeah, I think
you brought Camarasa in and Harry Arter, and hopefully we can get that kind of player, because we need 3 midfield players at the least. And we need a goal scorer desperately need a constant goal scorer in that league. Speed is what kills in that league. Simple as that.
Yeah, the most infuriating thing with Bobby Reid is that every time he did start, he was very, very good. And even you've seen in the last couple of games of the season, he was very, very good. And he gave us something that no one else gives us, with these little balls behind the fullbacks and inside the defenders.
Player. Well, that Fulham game, he dominated that Fulham game at home. He I'm glad, because I hate Fulham. Fulham are one of my hated clubs in the world. I can't stand that football club. We got asked to sing on their pitch, right? Last game of the season, 2015, I think it might have been, before we came to Vegas. 14, earlier than that, 14 maybe. And Adidas was doing a new campaign, and they wanted a band to record. They do Take Me Home, Craven Cottage, that shite. Can't even sing it, makes me feel sick. So can you come up with something that's a bit different, anthemic? You're all football fans. Can you do that? And, we're gonna the season, and we're gonna give you loads of gear, loads of Adidas stuff. So that sounds great. Sure, why not? No, we're all football fans. You got myself. I'm a Cardiff fan. Jimmy's a Man City fan. My brother's whoever's winning. Tommy's an Everton fan. So we're all different. Lots of clubs in our band, and none of us clicked that this was going to be an awful idea to do. Because going away was my favorite thing to do. Going to away games, even back in the naughty days, was good fun to watch. You weren't part of it. You just stood back and got a QPR away and being thrown fireworks at me and all that kind of crap. It was great fun. Loved it. Loved every minute. Didn't change any of it. Don't advocate it, but it was good fun. But we were going there. It was like, this would be good fun. No, we went out. Liverpool was the last game of the season, and the pitch was being up for nominated for pitch of the season because it was beautiful. It was goal. It looked like a putting green. It was beautiful. Liverpool were, I think, qualified for the Champions League for the first time in a few years, or whatever it was. They were in the top four. They were winning the league, and they never will. But it got to half time, and they managed to tell us then that you have to mime. They said there's only one microphone that works, so you have to mime. It was like, oh, here we go. So we walk out, and they only had SF58s, which are like the cable microphones. They're really small. Yeah. So they made us hold them at the end to make them look like wireless microphones. It's really embarrassing. So we walk out, and kind of like football, kind of like, what's all this about? As soon as I walked out, I was like, this is a bad idea. This is an absolutely terrible idea. The Cardiff fan in me came out and went, I would be booing them. I'd be booing them straight away. So like, who are these idiots walking on the pitch? It works. We've done rugby games. We've done American football games. We've done college ice hockey. It works at all those. Football doesn't work. We knew pretty quickly. So Jimmy went to speak on the one microphone that was live. There was an actual microphone. And wanted to say congratulations to the Liverpool fans because the justice for Hillsborough they just won that court case. That had just happened. And he went to he said, congratulations, Liverpool. And then the microphone cut out.
Oh, no.
We didn't hear what he said next. So the Fulham fans just thought he was praising the Liverpool fans for whatever reason. So we start to sing this song, and then we find out they don't like who's the owner?
Fireheads, wasn't it?
Firehead, yeah. So the song's about him, right? And that's one of their songs they use. Apparently, we were told they sing a lot. I mean, they barely sing. They have those silly clapper things, but. Where they were like, oh, we've got some rough fans here. It's like, oh, we'll be all right. It's full of. You've got a mixed away end. Like, you'll be fine. And when we were on the halfway line, and it starts playing, you see this group of guys to my right by the touchline. About 6 or 7 of them going, you Welsh, all this stuff going off. And I thought, at this point, they were getting close to getting on the pitch. So I put the microphone in my pocket. And I just went, come on, then. Come on. It was like, you're the one who's going to get banned, not me. And anyway, it didn't go down well. We got out of there pretty quick. One Liverpool fan. Have you been to Fulham? We've been to Craven Cottage.
Yeah.
He went in that sort of like quite that big bank, and he ran down the stairs. He came down. He went, what the fucking hell was that? That was fucking shite. So we were like, thanks everybody, and we walk out. It was, oh Jesus Christ! One guy then decided to troll us for probably about a year and a half on Twitter. And then we went on Xfactor. So then he was like, oh, these fucking wankers are back. These are the worst people. He just went off on one. It was like, this guy's just not leaving us alone. He just wouldn't leave us alone. So I don't like Fulham. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting summer. I'm excited for it. It's nice to go down this time and not feel depressed because we were in the wrong colour last time. The whole club was a mess from top to bottom. I used to blog about Cardiff in the day. I used to write for the Ninian guys, and I used to do stuff for them. And it was just depressing. Do you know what I mean? It was just wrong. I went on all the marches. It was tough, and I got a few friends who don't go to Cardiff or don't even pay any attention to Cardiff anymore.
This guy, I still pay attention, but I don't go.
Which is fair enough. And there's one guy who literally doesn't even say they exist, and it's like. It's hard when it's been in there for so long. You know, it's a hobby at the end of the day. That's what it is. You got to break it down. I mean, you could be the most hardened football fan in the world, but it is literally a hobby. And for me, it was a case of I like watching football games, and if I'm going to watch anyone, I'm going to watch Cardiff.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I went to Chelsea away, I went to a couple of home, and it was crap. You know, it was just like, even as just a social experiment to experience it. I went on all the matches, I went to all the meetings, and it was like, you know, it's still my club. I'll be here after anyone's there. I'll still be the one who likes them longer than any owner that comes in or goes. So it was interesting season this year. It was a lot nicer. And I think, even though I didn't go and I wasn't able to go to anything, it was pretty clear to me that everybody was behind what they were trying to do. And I think as much as he can make amends for what happened, I think Tan and Mehmet Dallin and all that, I think they've done as much as they can to try and claw that back. And a lot of the pain has been done, the damage has been done already, so a lot of people won't. But there's new generations of people. The people who used to go when I was 10, they don't go anymore anyway.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So it's the kids come through, and it's only going to grow the fan base. Do you know what I mean? It's only going to. They had a decent season. I think we were told we were going to be the new Derby. We were only going to get 8 points. We were only going to, Chris Sutton, that idiot, was mouthing off before he even kicked the ball. But they done well. If it wasn't for that result against Chelsea and the draw at Huddersfield and that Fulham game away where they just lay down and let them beat them. They were crap.
Yeah.
We would have stayed up, but there you go. It happens. It'll be interesting. I hope they don't do what Swansea had done and just sat mediocre in mid-table. And it's going to be a big season to try and hopefully buy right.
Yeah, they gotta get the right players in, and I think young and quick is the way they need to go. They need a striker though badly.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think he's what Neil Warnock's done since he come in is nothing short of a miracle. To be fair to him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We were bottom, second from bottom, whatever it was. We were right down the bottom, and if we'd had those runs of results the whole season, we would have won the league. It's incredible what he did, and yeah, he's that kind of guy. And I think he looks like he loves the place. I think that's pretty clear.
I thought he was going to go. I got to be honest. I thought the Salah thing took it out of him, and I thought if we stay up, he's going to go. But I always thought that if we went down, he'd probably stay, because I think he's confident that he'll get us back up. But I spoke to a QPR. I did a show with a QPR fan this morning, and he's quietly optimistic about next year. He just thinks as long as they stay up and they finish mid-table, he'll be happy. But they've got some cracking youngsters. Yeah. And I said, mate, when Warnock come in, that's what we all said, was that we just wanted to stay up and mid-table, nice and not stressful, no relegation. And if we get towards the playoffs, great. And then we ended up going up. So, I mean, it's such a weird league that anyone can beat anyone on any day. And I think that's what makes it so good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you look at Leeds. They bossed that league this year. They were easily the best team in that league. I've only seen bits of them. I can't stand Leeds, but my mate, again, he's a Middlesbrough fan. He's like, yeah, they were easily the best team.
Oh yeah, big time.
Right and centre, and then they bottled it again. Always.
Yeah, Jesus. They got, and they're going to lose their best player, what's his name? Dan James is going to United as well. Young Welshman who's really good.
Great. What? He's actually a Cardiff fan, but that's all right.
That's the way. What do you think of Giggs then? Do you reckon he's the man for the job, or do you think he won't last?
I think it's an interesting one. I just very lucky to have gone. I went to the Euros. I went to as many games as I could at the time. It was a case of we basically, I was traveling around at the time, and when we qualified, I went to most of the qualifiers. I just wanted to experience one game at the Euros. I wanted to go. I've seen us score. Well, one thing I said to my dad, I want to see us score a goal. That's all I want to do. I don't care how we do. I don't think we got open else chances. We've done well with what we got.
Just experience
a 1-star. We got Ramsey sitting behind him and Alan, and and we just got to go from there with the kids, right? And all the really good youngsters we had. So I originally couldn't go to that first game in Bordeaux, and my mates who I go to Cardiff with are all from Bear they, and they're like, well, listen, we got a ticket. If you can get yourself to France and you're free, you can have this ticket. I was like, all right. So at the moment, I'm meant to be going away on a ship. We were traveling, whatever. Anyway, for one reason or another, that got cancelled. So I was like, right, I am going to Bordeaux, come hell or high water. And I've flown a lot. So I was like, I don't care how I get there. I don't give a shit how long it takes me to get there. I'm going. So I flew I got a bus from Cardiff to London. I flew from Heathrow or Gatwick, whatever it was, to Athens. And then I was in Athens airport for about 7 hours. I flew from Athens to Bordeaux. And I was straight then to meet them at whatever pub. But by the time I landed, I was like, Dad, book me a hotel. I'll give you the money. Just find me somewhere to stay, a B&B or somewhere, so I can just go and bag off and I can go straight to... The game was the day after, I think. I can't remember what day the game was. So that whole experience was insane. Like being at a tournament and like, for instance, wearing red at a tournament. I've never done that. I've never been to any... Apart from the internationals at home, I've never been in a... It's always like the FA Cups and the Carling Cups have always been with Cardiff. So it's always been that tournament feeling has always been with Cardiff. So it was like a different feeling to be around Welshmen everywhere. You know, it was thousands and thousands of us there. And did you get to go over? Did you go over at all?
I didn't. I couldn't. My health was nowhere near good enough.
I was with them, and we were up in the top tier. Great view though. All the stadiums were lovely that I went to. And I was like, and they nearly scored, really quickly. And I was like, oh, here we fucking go now. This would be a disaster now. Never mind the fact we had England to play. But when Bale had that free kick and I still got a video of it on my phone. One of the boys filmed it. Like I never film anything like that, but one of the boys filmed it. And I'll keep that for the rest of my life. That was I'll hopefully tell probably my American son, who's going to be wearing a top of Welsh shirts. It was just the most incredible feeling. It was up there with the Peter Whittingham free kick at Leicester, that playoff. That was the same kind of where the ground was moving underneath me.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And the whole thing, then to win and the whole night out was just, I've never experienced anything like it. And then I was travelling then for the rest of the tournament, apart from the semi-final. I went to the semi-final. But I watched us lose to England in Turkey. What was the next game? Who did we beat next? Russia, I watched in Mykonos. We were all at Manila. The Belgian game was 4:00 in the morning in Manila. We were all in the hotel room. We were told we had to do some photos the day after, which turned out to be for the billboards for the bloody show out there. At the time, we thought it was just some social media stuff. So I'm like, cool, I'll just do it and then go to bed afterwards. We get like a couple of bottles of Jack. We had loads of beers. We just got in and we're like, we're going to watch this, all of us together. Again, never thought we'd have a hope in that. But then sneaking, he's like, we've beaten them once. We can beat them again. Maybe we can beat them again. And that was incredible. That game was... I just worry. I worry if gigs can create the same kind of boys on tour feeling that it's clear that they had.
Yeah.
I've watched with them are talking about that. I still haven't been able to see Don't Take Me Home. I've never got to watch it. I need to try and find it.
Really good. Really good.
It's pretty clear to me that they had like a lads on tour stag weekend feeling for the whole thing. I think that's what kept them together the whole time. I think it's going to be interesting to see, because he's a star in his own right, whether he's... I don't know. I always had a bit of a grudge against him for not turning up, having Fergalitis, as we used to call it, you know. But they played well. They won that first game. That was an important one to win. It was sloppy, but they did it. And I think he desperately needs Bale to find a new team.
Yeah, he needs to find somewhere.
I don't want him to come back to the Premier League. He needs to stay away playing nice, fluid football elsewhere. He needs to be the star of whatever team. I'm glad Ramsey's going to Juventus. I think it's a great move for him. The pace of football over there is a bit slower, but I think he'll be able to boss those midfields. I think he'll have a whale of a time sitting in the middle, pinging balls out all over. I think I think Arsenal fans haven't looked after him well enough. I think they treat him like crap, to be honest with you, and I don't understand why, because he's one of their best players they've had. What was it, 5 million they bought him for?
Yeah.
18 or whatever the hell it was. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I think hopefully he's got that team around him, because Sam Roberts is still there, and he's still got the backbone of what was the Welsh management team. I think it's going to be interesting. He looks passionate enough. He looks like he's enjoying it. He looks like he's being Welsh for the most part.
Hey, the one good thing is he's got a lot of good, really, really top youngsters.
Yeah.
So if he can get them believing in what he wants to do, I think he's got a good chance. But I think he's got to show them that he's got the dedication and the passion to want to carry on, where they've seen, it's different now to where when he played, where Wales had never qualified for a tournament, because they've seen Bale and Ramsey.
The pressure was on that year.
They've seen, and then not only did they qualify for the tournament, they went to the semi-final. So those young players have seen that now. They need to
drive on.
They need to drive on.
It was interesting. I remember the Israel game at home. If we won that, we were going to qualify, and the pressure was absurd. It really was, and you could feel after 5 minutes like this is not going to happen today. They're not going to bottle it, but just like it was just too much to go away and to do it, away from home, and like the results elsewhere go our way too, and it was just kind of the right way to do it. Bit scrappy, but I don't know. I think he's moved players around. He's changed the formation a lot. I think he played the youngsters when he needed to. That last game he played, no need to put it was a nothing game. You know what I mean? It was what it was, and they did well. It was feel sorry for the fans in Wrexham not seeing the big players, but it was good for the youngsters to get out and it was always that extra game. Do you mean they were never going to play? So
do you know what I mean? Though if Bale gets injured in that game and then can't play in the qualifier, he'll get slated, so he can't win.
I read the other day that apparently they're going to drop him to the under 23s or something in Real Madrid if he doesn't find a new club. So I don't know what he's done wrong. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but
he hasn't been very good this year. But they've never given him the credit that he deserves.
Well, when Zidane was there last time, he was, they wouldn't have won the games without him, and I think that the other manager they had didn't like playing him for whatever reason. Liked Isco and liked the younger boys. I can't think of the kids' names. Like 17, but it's people have a go at him, and you're like, he does get injured because he's so quick. You got to think of those muscles in his hamstrings are so tight.
Oh yeah, man.
Long boy. You know what I mean? He's a tall kid as well, and I don't know. He needs to go somewhere where he's loved next, but he needs to be that number one player. He needs to be the Ronaldo. Because he needs to be that striker up the middle. He can't be out wide. He needs to be up top. Give him the ball and let him do what he does. Because he's still got it. He's young. How old is he?
Yeah, he's 29, I think.
He's got another 4 years yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know where he'll go.
Well, surely I think Tottenham have to have the option first. I think that's part of his contract.
Don't think they'll pay their money though, mate, to be honest. I don't think they'd pay him his wage or the fee. I think he'll end up going to Man United, I do, and Pogba will go to Madrid.
If Solskjaer is still the manager, that would be a terrible move. Because that man is a fraud of...
Oh, he's terrible, mate, isn't he?
It was so funny when he went to United and then they won 8 in a row. Because he got a new manager. It's not because of him. They didn't like Mourinho anymore. And then all of a sudden... Cardiff showed him how to play football. It was. Yeah, he's a fraud. And that's the only thing that would worry me about Dan James going there too. Even though Solskjaer likes his youngsters, he's not a good manager to learn under. Dan James should go to someone like Everton or Wolves or someone who's got a bit of flair. Look at Wolves. They done hellishly good this season. Like really, really well. Like the best any promoted team's ever done, I think. They play some quality football. I don't like them as a football club, but
plays some great stuff.
But then if he plays every week, Dan James, and that's what I want as a Welsh football fan, I want him playing, not coming on for Lingard or I don't want him. I don't want him sitting behind an English player because I want him playing.
Yeah, saying that, I think Mike Phelan is he's a really good assistant manager, and they got a couple of good coaches behind Solskjaer, so I wouldn't mind too much if he goes there because I think he'll play. They need at least one winger, if not two. So I think he'll play. And also, I think Solskjaer will be gone by Christmas anyway. So
he'll be back. He'll be back at Mold soon.
Yeah, in the pub league.
I think that's his level. We went to see one of the best away games I've ever been to. Well, I'll say it's away. It was in there. We went to see Bromby play. We had a night off in Copenhagen about 4 or 5 years ago. And we were just looking around what to do. And Copenhagen is a beautiful city. And we looked, it's a football game. Let's go down there. We looked them up and they're bonkers, right? These fans, they're nuts. Not a massive crowd, probably about 14,000, but it was like the terraced end, what would be the Grange end, I suppose, behind the goal. You can drink on the terrace. They got flares. And it was one of the most fun I've had in a long time at a football game. It was incredible, really good fun. And I followed them ever since. They're crap as well. But, you keep an eye on them. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. He needs to qualify in this Nations League. If he doesn't qualify from that, then it'll.
Yeah, it's be a struggle then, won't it?
Yeah, have you seen Joey Barton might be going to Swansea?
Is it?
I read that yesterday. They've been
match made in heaven.
Jesus Christ! Only one manager gets arrested for assaulting someone on the way out. Anyway.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, they deserve each other. Right, buddy. Thank you for joining me.
Of course, mate.
Really appreciate it. We had a few technical issues, but we got through.
No worries, mate.
Pretty well then. So you can go to the Tenors of Rock website, which is www.tenorsrock.com, and you can follow Dai on Twitter, which is what?
I am Dai DAI_R1927.
And what's the Tenors of Rock one?
Tenors of Rock is just at Tenors of Rock. On Instagram, I'm Dai Richards T.O.R on there as well. So
there you are. Right, and you can follow us on at ACEcast_Nation. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Up to like 3,000 followers or something ludicrous like that. Cheers, buddy.
No worries, bud. Good to see you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Stop.